Hello there. I'm Simon Meager. I'm the Commercial Director for Fleet 21. And really what I wanted to do today was to just share a little bit about our experience at the Safety and Health Expo last year and explain a little bit about why it worked for us. I must say I'm a little surprised to be invited to come and speak here because I probably am a UBM salesman's nightmare as a potential client. I'm a grumpy old cynical Englishman and I have to be honest, I was actually dead against exhibiting at the show. And that was mainly based on past performance at previous events that I'd exhibited at in different parts of my career. My business partner, giving him his due, persuaded me to have a meeting with UBM and listen to what they had to say. And I genuinely feel very sorry, and I apologise to her now for the meeting that she had to endure. She came in and she patiently listened to all of my objections and then very quietly put her head up and said, "You've got it wrong. You've been doing it wrong all these years." And that was quite a good opening gambit, but it did actually make me sit up and think. We'd gone to previous events and booked our stand and printed materials and expected people to come. And as someone had explained to me, that's really what they call the King Solomon principle, and build it and they will come. Well, quite often they didn't, and that was my reason for being so cynical about things. But what Holly explained to us was that actually this isn't just an event, it's a campaign, it's a marketing campaign, of which the event is a component. And actually if you put the time and effort into it, you're going to get something back. So really what she wanted to do was change our approach to the show. And instead of the blame culture, well, it didn't work, it didn't happen, she put some of the emphasis firmly back on our shoulders. It's actually what you put in is actually what you get back. But she did actually offer to help, and UBM, as they've explained today, offered to help to put together a campaign for us. So she immediately had my attention. We as Fleet 21, we launched our brand at the show last year. We're a brand new company, and we had been looking at a way of launching it. And as we talked through with UBM, they told us they were about to launch a new driver safety zone. And as we were in the driver safety business, it seemed quite a good place to start. So the saleswoman had done really well already because she'd got me from originally wanting to buy a stand to actually now buying a zone. So I don't know what she put in my drink that day, but it worked. So ultimately, UBM were true to their word. They guided us through the process as though we didn't know what we were doing. And from what we'd been told, we certainly didn't. And they put together a campaign for us that meant that we would get the most value out of the show. The campaign started in August, in actually October of the year prior to the show. And we kicked off with a driver attitudes and trends survey. And that went out to a lot of UBM's database, and it was designed to give us industry feedback on what they thought about driver safety and what the health and safety sector thought about it. And once we gathered the results, and I have to say, for our first survey ever, we got over 1,000 respondents. And again, that's a tribute to what UBM did for us. And armed with all of this data, it gave us some very useful information. It gave us the information to understand what our potential customers were looking for, what their problems were and what their issues were. And therefore, it gave us basically the backbone of what our event stand was going to be. And we decided, on UBM's advice, not to actually make this a sales event. We made it a purely educational event. And together, we began a marketing campaign telling everyone about the education event that we'll be running. And using UBM's own program and our own social media, the first quarter of 2013 was just spent telling people, come and see us. As we've just heard, that's what we should be doing. And so even before the show got off the ground, we already had a lot of people who were registering, and with some of the post-event analysis that UBM did for us, we could see that actually we got some of the best respondents of people giving the reasons why they were coming to the show was because they knew about us, they knew that the content that we were putting together was worthwhile and valuable, and they were prepared to take a day out of their life to come and listen to what we had to say. And that pre-show data was very useful. The next area we need to agree was really how did we make the stand a success? And we invited lots of industry speakers to come and talk about key areas of driver safety. And as they say, old habits die hard. I was a lawyer originally by training, And so we decided to have a bit of fun, and we had a mock trial on our stand. And that was a proper trial with barristers, with a proper magistrate. We invited some of the members of the audience to come and sit up on the magistrate's bench, and we actually ran a real case. It wasn't scripted, but it was a real live case, and I was interrogated by a barrister, which I'd never been before, because I'm generally on the other side, and it was actually quite stressful, I have to say. But what it was designed to do was to show everybody what would happen if something went wrong. On those days, we ran it for 3 days. Our whole auditorium, which was I think about 40 seats, was full, and we had about 150 people stand around the outside to watch it. It was such a success that our competitors turned up on the final day to stand and watch it, which was quite entertaining. So really, what we'd managed to do was we managed to get our name out and our brand out there. And we went away feeling actually we'd had a really good show. But that wasn't the end of it all. Key thing for us was then turning those leads and those relationships into business. And again, UBM helped us continue that after the event. And I have to stress, after the event is as important as pre-event. And that's actually where we got our most traction. So we did various webinars, we did email campaigns, and in fact our first webinar that we did with UBM, again, we got I think over 870 people attend, which actually shocked me that you could get so many people into a room, or an online room anyway. And we responded to every single question that people asked during that webinar, and it gave us an opportunity to touch pretty much all of the audience. It was fantastic. So to sum up, I won't drone on any longer, but really to say it is about making it a year-long campaign. It's about what you get back, what you put into it, from the survey to the pre-event campaigns, to actually educating people when they're on the stand, not selling to them, not pushing stuff into them, and then the post-event webinars and editorial that we got. And as I have to say, I was wrong, and I don't often admit that, but UBM taught me a very salutary lesson. Thank you.